Welcome back to Cooking with Dr. T. And before we get started, hit that subscribe button. Give me some likes. Share with your friends. This is important for me. I want you to share these recipes with your loved ones and try them at home with your children or that significant other. These are easy recipes. I'm not a chef. I love to cook. So these things are easy to do and quick. So today we're going to do our old favorite, which is Southern style homemade potato salad. You're going to need dill relish, sweet relish, mustard, yellow mustard. Now you want the coarse grain mustard, good mayonnaise. I choose Hellmann's. That's the one my husband loves. And then in here you have the seasoning mixture will be at the bottom in the recipe. It's garlic powder, salt, pepper, onion powder, and a pinch of sugar. We'll go through that. 2 eggs and green. This is about 2 green onions. So before we got started, I already boiled my potatoes. These, I use yellow potatoes just because they're a little softer texture, which is fine. A lot of people use russet potatoes. That's an old-fashioned way. It's great. I had these at home. That's what I chose to use. So in the bowl, I already have 2 tablespoons of my dill relish and 3 tablespoons of my sweet relish. And what I like to do first is because my potatoes are not hard, not boiled where they're falling apart. They still have texture. So I like to mix my wet mixture first. So that way I make sure that it tastes the way I want before I add my potatoes. So for a lot of potato salad is iron. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's based on preference. So I'm gonna use my yellow mustard. That's about a teaspoon and a half. And a big thing that I love to use, and it's so important to give it that texture you want, and that undercover is a teaspoon and a half of that coarse grain mustard. Now I'm going to mix that all up. Understand your relish has extra moisture in it, so it's going to look a little moist, look a little wet, which is fine. Now, for my mayonnaise, I'm going to use this size spoon. That's a big spoon, right? That's a tablespoon. 2 tablespoons, right? So I'm going to leave that just in case. Mix that up. And now we're going to dice up our eggs. It's a quick, rough chop. I boiled them and I cut them and I peeled them. And you can add more eggs if you like. My husband is a potato salad connoisseur. He likes his potatoes a certain way. So we try to abide by what he expects. So I'm going to add my egg last. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add about 1/2 of my green onion. About 1/2. And you notice I have not added any of my seasoning yet. So what we're going to do, we're just going to stir it up and give it a pinch. Because that's the way I can always pull back if it's too much. And remember, your family may like it different, and that's fine. There's no wrong way to do things that your family like. Give it a taste. Good. I'm glad I added more. I may add a little more pepper, but you see potatoes. What I'm gonna do, because once again, you don't want a soggy potato salad. So you're gonna get a slotted spoon. I want to make sure I get all that liquid. I don't want to get any liquid in there from when I boil the potatoes. You're gonna dump those in there. And I used about 6 good sized yellow potatoes. Because I'm only making a small batch. Okay. Set that to the side. Now, we're just going to dice these potatoes in there. And one reason you use the egg is because it's a good way to actually make sure it kind of holds together. Want to beat that in there. You don't want it too wet, don't want it too moist. And if you get in a situation like if this is a little bit too wet for you, let me tell you, it's all kind of ways. You got a little breadcrumbs in there to thicken it up if you like. You can add another egg in there if you like. I haven't added the egg in there yet, but if you're at this texture, you're like, oh, it's not really what I want, you can feel free to add more egg. Okay, because you still want the potato. You want the potatoes to still have texture, because this is not whipped potato salad. So you're gonna dump your eggs in there. I have chopped. And you see I'm using a spatula and not a spoon, because I want to be able to taste everything that went in there. And I added a little pinch of sugar. See how it's thickening up now with the egg? I added a pinch of sugar even though I had sweet relish. You could always alter that if you want more or less sugar. I'm not a big sugar person. But you want to cut that acid a little bit of having mustard. So right now, I wouldn't add any more mayonnaise or mustard to this, because this, see how you can still see the potatoes? It's what you want, right? So, get a little taste here. And it's all I'm tasting for right now, if it has the taste that I want for that good Southern style potato salad. Man. Add a little more green onion. Child. Mix that up in there. Girl, you better stop it. Now, because I know who I fool with, I'm gonna add a little more pepper. And what you do is, I always want to measure it in my hand before I put it in there, right? Especially when you're doing anything like salt. So that way you can manage it. Because I buy big size stuff. Yeah, I'm that one. See how is it? Now, that's what you're talking about. Now, what I'm going to add is, just to finish it off, is a little smoked paprika. This is about 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Give it that good flavor and that smoky. And then, of course, some parsley, just to have whatever you like. Okay, during the little break we had, my producer / Dar said, make sure you tell the people you don't be measuring anything. You do it by eye. I do. When I put stuff in season like this in the bowls, yeah, I measured it just to want to make sure I'm accurate. But for most of the times when I'm doing stuff like this, you see I didn't measure that. So, you know, if you're not the best and you just starting off, you measure it. I ain't the best. So sometimes, you know, your hand is your best measuring tool, right? See, now it has a little color to it. And it's still creamy, but it's not too creamy. See that consistency? That, boom, boom. It ain't soup. So now we give one more try. See if we hit the pay dirt. Almost there. It's okay. We'll add a little more pepper. Oh yeah. You add red pepper flakes if you want to this. If you want a little more heat. But what I'm going to do, add a little more smoked paprika. It's about another, goodbye.
What does paprika do for the flavor?
Well, smoked paprika comes from the chili flake. So it gives a little hint of flavor, but you have Spanish paprika, was a little bit spicier. You have smoked, this is a smoked Spanish paprika, which is smoky, but it's like a chili flake that's been smoked over the fire. So it enriches the oils and the flavor. Then you have Hungarian paprika, which is a even more spicy paprika. So you have a lot of paprikas because it's all from the chili flake. So that's why when you cook with paprika, sometimes you see like a little red oil. That's the chili flake oil. So parsley, like people say, parsley don't add no flavor. Well, fresh parsley always does, and so does the dried parsley. And I know for some of you all, if you're watching your sodium intake, you may want to cut back on your salt. I know my husband watched on his sodium intake, but I'm gonna give it one more try. Man. Yeah. Right there. You could taste the mayonnaise, you taste the potato, the green onion, the 2 types of relish, the hard grain mustard, got a little kick in the back of your throat. Yeah. Yeah. And all you do is put it in the refrigerator and let it cool. And there you have it. Homemade potato salad.